When it comes to political theater, few do it quite like Donald Trump. His recent speech in Asheboro, North Carolina, was supposed to be about national security, but it quickly devolved into a mix of whining, wild accusations, and off-the-wall claims that left even his most ardent supporters scratching their heads. Let's dive into some of the most bizarre moments and see what they tell us about Trump's current state of mind and why he's clearly rattled by the DNC. Trump kicked off his rant by taking aim at former President Barack Obama, who had the audacity to mock Trump during the DNC. Trump was visibly irritated, lashing out at Obama for getting personal, while simultaneously claiming he's always the nice guy.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy?
The irony here is thicker than a New York pizza crust. Trump, who has built an entire political persona on hurling personal attacks and derogatory nicknames, suddenly acts like it's a crime against humanity when the tables are turned. It's almost comedic how the man who coined terms like Crooked Hillary and Sleepy Joe, well, you will see the proof in the later part, and now feels victimized because Barack Obama and Michelle Obama had the audacity to call him out at the DNC. Trump's notoriously thin skin was on full display during his Asheboro speech, where he couldn't resist turning what was supposed to be a serious policy-driven discussion on national security into a full-blown personal pity party. Instead of focusing on the issues that actually matter to voters, Trump diverted the spotlight to his own grievances, whining about being unfairly targeted. It's a classic Trump move: deflect from the real issues by playing the victim, all while avoiding any substantive policy discussion. Then there's Trump's wild claim that Obama somehow gave Russia all of America's military secrets, specifically hypersonic missile technology. The mental gymnastics required to follow Trump's logic here could win an Olympic gold medal. He accuses Obama of selling out to Russia, conveniently forgetting his own history of cozying up to Putin. Like that time he invited Russian officials into the Oval Office and handed over classified information.
They're going at levels of speed that nobody thought was possible. Do you know, that was our technology that was stolen by Russia. And Russia has them, and I started them very quickly. But somebody gave Russia, years ago, before me, all of our plans and specs for hypersonic missiles, and they built them, and we didn't. He said Bill Clinton. It could be. It might have been, in all fairness, might have been a little after Bill Clinton. I used to like Bill Clinton. Can you believe it? It could have been Barack Hussein Obama, perhaps. We should ask him. Now, he was very nasty last night. I try and be nice to people, you know, but it's a little tough when they get personal. Please, again, remember, please, sir, don't get personal. Talk about policy. Let me ask you about that. We're going to do a free poll. Here are the two questions. Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? Ready? Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? I don't know. My advisors are fired.
Oh, Donald Trump, you mean like when you invited the Russians into the Oval Office in 2017 and then admitted to giving them classified information?
Projection. Anyone? Trump's attempts to rewrite history are almost laughable, especially when he seems to forget that history doesn't just vanish. He accuses others of the very things he's guilty of, all while trying to twist the narrative in his favor. But here's the thing: history remembers, and no amount of deflection can change the facts. Trump's selective memory may serve him in the moment, but the truth has a funny way of catching up. One of the strangest moments came when Trump claimed that he was the one who named the Resolute desk and accused Biden of stealing the term.
Every American was safer under President Trump. In fact, the entire world was safer when I sat behind that beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office. You know, I heard the other day, for the first time, I heard Biden say, the beautiful Resolute desk. He never said that before. They copy me. When I say we're a nation in decline, guys are copying me. Then they say they shouldn't say that, but they thought the words were beautiful. But they copy me all the time. In that case, it was Republicans.
Yes, you heard that right. Trump thinks he's the one who coined the name of a desk that has been called the Resolute desk since the 19th century. This isn't just delusional. It's like watching someone argue that they invented the wheel. Trump seems to think that every good idea somehow originated with him, even if it predates him by over a century. Just when you thought Trump couldn't get any more off topic, he went on a bizarre tangent about military goggles. He rambled about how soldiers didn't fight at night because they didn't have goggles, and now they do, thanks to him.
We had goggles, brand new, right out of the box. You know, they didn't fight at night because they never had goggles, right? Good fighters. They never had goggles. Now they have brand new goggles.
It's the kind of statement that makes you wonder if Trump is living in some alternate reality where he's the savior of all things night vision. It's hard to tell what point he was trying to make, if there was a point at all, but it was clear that coherence wasn't a priority. Trump's speech wouldn't be complete without some good old-fashioned fear-mongering. This time about thieves supposedly using calculators to ensure they steal just under $950 to avoid prosecution.
She had one policy. If you steal less than $1,000, basically $950 to be exact, I want to be accurate for purposes of reporters. The fake news media, they want accuracy. They don't have to be accurate, but we have to be accurate. But if you steal less than $950, they basically leave you alone. So I have guys going in robbing stores with a calculator. Let's see, this is $100. Did you notice? This is not going to happen in North Carolina, I don't think, is it?
Donald Trump then lies and claims that before he was in office, there was no ammunition. Play the clip.
And we had it built. We rebuilt it. We rebuilt the whole military, but it was decimated under this group of stupid people. You know, we had so much. When I came in, we had no ammunition. Did you know that? Remember? I used to talk about it. And I said, if it's true, which it was, why would you say that? We had people on television. Well, the United States has no ammunition. You know, some things you just keep to yourself, right? Do you remember I used to, from North Carolina, do you remember I used to talk about that all the time? Those are my best witnesses, those ladies.
Donald Trump then lies and says, I'm working for you, not for myself. Play the clip.
When you don't fire people, they never write books, you know. But I fired a lot of people. I wasn't happy with their service. I wasn't happy with the job they did, and I fire them. I let them go. I mean, I'm working for you. I'm not doing this for...
It's a claim so absurd, it's almost laughable, except that it reveals how detached Trump is from reality. Imagine a group of shoplifters huddled together, calculators in hand, plotting their next heist with the precision of accountants. It's a scene straight out of a bad comedy, but in Trump's mind, it's somehow a real threat to America. In a moment of rare honesty, Trump admitted that he's struggling to come up with a nickname for Kamala Harris.
And if she gets in, our country doesn't have a chance. This calamity is on Comrade Kamala Harris's shoulders. I think her name will be Comrade because I think that's the most accurate name. You know, I've been looking for a name. People are saying, sir, don't do it. You know all my names. They've all worked. They've all been very successful. And I really didn't find one with her. Sir, she's a woman. I said, so is Hillary Clinton. I called her Crooked Hillary. So nobody complained about that, right? Right? Mr. Governor, nobody complained about that. No, I called her Crooked Hillary. I call people names. I call crazy Nancy Pelosi crazy because she is.
It's almost tragic when you consider how much Trump prides himself on his childish name-calling. Instead of coming up with a clever moniker, the best he could muster was Comrade Kamala, which, let's be honest, lacks the punch of his usual insults. It's as if Trump's once prolific insult generator is finally running out of juice, a real issue for someone who relies so heavily on playground tactics to rally and energize his base. Without his sharp jabs, Trump's rhetoric feels flat, leaving his usual fiery style noticeably lacking. Trump also took a moment to brag about how he strong-armed NATO allies into paying more for their defense, threatening not to protect them if they didn't cough up the cash.
I said, nobody's paying. You gotta pay. And they did, paid hundreds of billions of dollars. They said, well, does that mean you won't support us if we don't pay? I said, that's what it means. I had to say that. I got a lot of heat for that. People, the fake news, oh, that's a lot of fake news. Oh, that's a lot of fake news. No, the fake news gave me a hard time for that. The fake news was saying, what a terrible thing to say to our allies. Our allies weren't paying. And I said, you gotta pay. We were paying for everybody. So they take advantage of us on trade, and then we also pay for their military. That somehow doesn't work. So they had to pay. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars. But I said to them, no, that means I will not protect you. I will not protect you. They said, sir, if we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? Used to be Soviet Union, now Russia. Will you protect us? I said, are you paid? No, let's assume we're not paid. Then you're delinquent, right? Well, yes, that's an old real estate term. You're delinquent, yes. No, we will not protect you. The press went crazy that I said, and you know what? If I would have said the other way, they would have never paid. Hundreds of billions were sent in to NATO.
While this might sound tough at first glance, it actually reveals Trump's deeply transactional view of alliances. Essentially, if you don't pay up, you're on your own. This approach reduces complex international relationships to simple business deals, where loyalty and support hinge entirely on financial contributions. It's a dangerous oversimplification that ignores the nuanced realities of global diplomacy. After asserting his pay-to-play doctrine, Trump then pivoted to attacking American military generals, labeling them fake and woke, simply because they dared to disagree with him.
And somebody that's been with me from day one, he's a real general. You know, we have the real generals, and we have the fake woke generals that did so poorly in Afghanistan, should have all been fired. But this is a real general, Keith Kellogg. Right, Keith?
This is classic Trump. If you're not aligned with him 100%, you're immediately cast as the enemy. Such a black and white strategy might work in the cutthroat world of reality TV, where drama and conflict fuel ratings, but on the world stage, it's a recipe for disaster. Alienating allies and undermining military leaders only serves to weaken the very foundations of national and international security. And then there was Trump's boldest claim of the night, that he could achieve world peace with a single phone call. According to Trump, all it takes is a stern talking to and a threat of tariffs, and voila, global conflict averted.
Starting the moment I lift my hand from the Bible after taking the oath of office, I will move to restore America to maximum strength and return the world to peace. We're going to return the world to peace. And mostly I can do it with a telephone call. You know, we don't have to send troops. I can do it with a telephone call. You go to war with another country that's friendly to us or even not friendly to us. You're not going to do business in the United States, and we're going to charge you 100% tariffs. And all of a sudden, the president or prime minister or dictator or whoever the hell is running the country says to me, sure, we won't go to war. I talked this world out of a lot of wars with telephone calls. I don't have to say.
It's the kind of oversimplification that would be hilarious if it weren't so dangerously naive. Trump seems to think diplomacy is just like closing a New York real estate deal. Make a call, bark some orders, and voila, problem solved. But in reality, international relations are a bit more complicated than haggling over the price of a Manhattan penthouse. Diplomacy requires finesse, understanding, and a grasp of global dynamics that can't be boiled down to a quick transaction. Trump's belief that world leaders will bend to his will with a few tough words is like expecting a 5-star dinner from a microwave. Utterly misguided. In the boardroom, this approach might win a few deals, but on the global stage, where the stakes are much higher, it's a recipe for disaster. World leaders don't take orders like contractors. They require collaboration, trust, and a lot more than just a take-it-or-leave-it attitude. Not to be outdone, J.D. Vance took the stage to introduce Trump and declared that Trump is the hope candidate America needs.
We do not need a president with terrible judgment. We need Donald J. Trump back in the
Clip.
Now, Donald J. Trump represents something that so many in this country need right now, and I think it's important to recognize it. We need hope in the United States of America.
Vance's speech was full of the same empty rhetoric we've come to expect, painting Trump as the savior who's been unfairly persecuted by everyone from Democrats to the media. The irony here is rich. Vance is selling Trump as a beacon of hope, while standing next to a man who just spent the last hour ranting about Obama, Russia, and Resolute desks. If this is hope, it's a pretty bleak version of it. In a final twist, Trump called into his favorite radio show to declare that he's not a convicted felon, adding, "That doesn't happen for a while."
Talk about convicted felon. Well, first of all, I'm not a convicted felon. Number one, that doesn't happen.
It's a bizarre admission that suggests even Trump knows his legal troubles are catching up with him. He's not a felon, yet. But the fact that he felt the need to make this clarification speaks volumes about just how much these looming charges are weighing on him, despite his attempts to brush them off. It's like watching someone insist they're not out of breath after running a marathon while they're clearly gasping for air. The more he tries to downplay the seriousness of his situation, the more it becomes obvious that he's deeply worried. Trump's usual bravado can't quite mask the reality that he's facing significant legal challenges, and his slip-ups are starting to show. It's a telling moment, revealing a crack in the armor of a man who's always prided himself on being untouchable. This denial, while somewhat humorous, underscores the gravity of his predicament. Trump's Asheboro speech was a chaotic mix of grievances, half-truths, and outright lies, delivered with the flair of a man who's desperate to stay in the spotlight. From his bizarre claims about Obama and hypersonic missiles to his laughable assertions about NATO and world peace, it's clear that Trump's grasp on reality is slipping. But for Trump, that doesn't matter, as long as the cameras keep rolling and the crowds keep cheering. As we watch this spectacle unfold, one thing is certain: Trump will continue to make everything about him, even if it means bending the truth until it breaks. And while his base may lap it up, the rest of us are left wondering just how long this reality TV show can keep running before the ratings finally drop. And with that, we're wrapping things up. If you found this analysis thought-provoking, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.